I'm going to tell you some stories, but not just any stories. We're going to focus today on people who got scammed from crypto. Now, we all know in this economy how hard it is to buy a house. It seems like the average house is around $400,000 and up. Shoot, if I even want to go get an apartment, if I want a one bedroom, I'm paying $2,000 a month. They already put down their first down payment, but then they had another $31,000 that were going to be coming through crypto. But this 31K in crypto wasn't easy to just pull out. You couldn't just convert it to cash and send it straight to your bank account because the person who wrote this is from a foreign country. So you have to go about it a different way using third parties. So they have $31,000 sitting in a crypto wallet with a hard way of trying to get it out, but they need this money so that they can follow through with the contract of buying their house. So the guy writing it is the husband, and his wife is the one who eventually gets scammed. So his wife trying to find a way to pull out this $31,000, since it's not as easy as just exchanging it for cash, she needs to find a brokerage or an exchange platform to get the money in cash. So eventually she gets an advertisement on Instagram, and on Instagram it's showing an easy exchange where all you have to do is talk to them on Telegram and they'll figure it out for you. So she eventually clicks on the ad, follows through with it, and they eventually end up talking to her. They said that they can do the exchange for cash. All she needs to do is create a new crypto wallet, send it to that, and then connect that wallet to a website to scan if it's safe. That's what they said. We need to check if it's safe, so you need to connect it to the website and it'll do a quality check for you. But the red flag was already there because why would I need to connect it to a website to check if it's safe if I just created the wallet? So eventually, when she had the wallet with the 31K in it and connected it to the website, she actually connected it to a smart contract that granted unlimited access to the funds in the wallet. So the moment she transferred her money to her trust wallet from Binance, the smart contract got in and took everything. And the scammers immediately blocked her on Telegram after this. And it sucks because now they're $31,000 short on buying their home after they already paid down the down payment, which pulling out means losing money on the deal. They're going to lose money on this. So what he did is they had to borrow $25K immediately from various different sources. It wasn't just a quick borrow from a friend or a family member. They had to go to multiple different places to get chunks of money to end up only getting $25,000. And now they're in a very difficult position, both financially and legally. And my biggest question was, if it was already hard enough to transfer crypto into cash, then why were you sitting there keeping so much money in crypto? And it's funny because a lot of the comments had the same question, and he answered it saying that she owns her own travel agency and that a lot of times clients pay her in crypto. So through all that crypto that she had accumulated, she finally wanted to cash out to fund her new home. Which makes it worse because not only do you not have 31K for the house that you just signed for, that you just put a down payment for, not only do you not have that money, but the money that you earned through your hard work on your own business is also gone. All that money that you've accumulated, I'm sure it was a long time of accumulation for this crypto that she was finally like, okay, I have a place to use it for. I need this chunk of money. Let's get it. All that work that you did is pretty much for free now because all that money is gone. So imagine you're the wife there and you got scammed out of money that you made from your own business. And not only that, but you can't even go get the house that you want. That is something that can ruin families. That's something that ruins people's life. And there was a lot of people that had support for this guy and told him people get scammed every day. It's so hard to figure out what's real and what's not. But then there was also people that were snarky and saying you're kind of stupid for this and your wife is not smart. And some guy even said the real question is why your wife is doing life-changing financial decisions without you being involved. And while that might seem like a valid question, he responded and said, because she is a very intelligent woman that can handle those things, but sometimes I guess they get the best of us. Doesn't mean anything, just she had a moment when she wasn't paying attention. It happens and it doesn't make her anything less than she is. Which, can we give a clap for the husband? Because that is such a good stance. I don't know how to feel after losing 31K, especially money that I thought we had for our house. That is something that will break a relationship up completely and put two people against each other because one person will look at you like, how could you be so dumb? While the other person is genuinely they genuinely made a mistake. So for him to sit there and defend his wife, that's good. But people weren't really liking his response to that, especially since he said she is very intelligent, because somebody said very intelligent, all right, not intelligent enough to trust a random service with her money. And everybody was just roasting him for calling her intelligent after she made a dumb decision. But it's true, like, smart people can make dumb decisions or stupid decisions or just be careless. I mean, with $31,000, would I trust it? Probably not, but that's from the outside looking in. I would never trust somebody. And actually, one of the moderators to the server came in and also shared their opinion just by like warning everybody, saying, as a rule of thumb, if you suspect the site is a scam, it probably is. No company is communicating through WhatsApp. No company is communicating through Telegram. And that's what I was thinking. But I don't know how it's like in another country, in a foreign country, if that is a social norm for the communications to happen through WhatsApp or Telegram. But any exchange platform trying to tell me, texting me personally, nah, I don't believe that. Like, there's been no opportunity where Trust Wallet has texted me personally. There's been no opportunity where Binance has texted me personally. So I would never trust a random site that I didn't know people have gotten withdrawals from. I wouldn't know that people if it's not an advertisement on a YouTuber's like channel, then I'm not going into investing into it. Even then, I got to do my own research, especially when it's $31,000. Like, and that's why I understand people who are like shaming her and kind of saying this was stupid, because this is so much money for you to be this careless and trust somebody this new. But again, it's not her fault, because smart people make dumb decisions all the time. And that's one of the hard things about looking at these scams. You cannot sit there and blame the victim for genuinely being deceived, but it also shows how much money these scammers are making, dude. These scammers are collecting so much cash, and especially because you get it in crypto too, so the amount that you steal, it could go up in value, but maybe not right now with the markets being down. This guy said, yes, I just invested in a coin that looks super legit, and they took over $4,000, couldn't pull the money out or swap. The only way to keep your coins is in cold storage, and only invest it in what's legit, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the main ones. Otherwise, there are too many imposters that look legit. I've lost so much doing this. Hard lesson are learned. And that's one of the caveats when it comes to crypto investing, is there's so many bad actors out there. If you start getting in the weeds of crypto, where you're going into the coins that were just dropped like 5 days ago, or you're going into the coins that aren't worth a whole lot, kind of putting yourself in position to get taken advantage of. You put yourself in position for somebody to swoop in and kind of steal everything you have. If not steal it, the coin could go to zero the next day, and people don't care. And now the husband is in a time crunch where he has 3 months to make $31,000 because his wife got scammed. He inadvertently has to pay for her decision because he now has 3 months to make $31,000, which, how are you going to do that? I don't know. Hopefully you have a good job. Hopefully you can go do DoorDash in your country. I don't know. The scammers do not care about you, and they don't care about, you know, who your family is or what you have this money for. And all they care about is padding their own pockets. So for this to happen to them and they lose 31,000 and they can't afford their home and they're in legal trouble and they have to make that back, and it was money from her own business, all of it stacks up to say, dude, was it ever worth it in the first place? And I wonder if after this, if she's going to allow people to trade crypto for, instead of pay her in cash, you know, is she going to allow people to pay in crypto? Because after this, it would be hard for me not to stop doing that. But somehow that 31K is not that much compared to this next story where his family lost a whole bunch more. And this is what happened. So his family really believed in XRP, which is a crypto coin. It was one of my big hitters early on in my career. So I love XRP, but they had a lot of money in XRP. And it was basically their life savings. And they had it in there in hopes for a long-term investment. Fast forward, they put all this money into a ledger. They have a crypto ledger with all their XRP in it. And they had a family member that they trusted with the keys to the wallet. So only a few people had the keys to the wallet with all the XRP in it. And eventually one of the people who were trusted with the keys basically gave the key away to a scammer who drained the account. And the account was worth over $200,000 worth of crypto, which is gut wrenching. I don't know what I would do after losing $200,000. Now, this is the thing. A lot of people in the comments are saying exactly what I was stating earlier in the last story. This is why you don't keep your life savings in crypto. Listen, and I was a big proponent of crypto. Crypto was one of my big hitters, my second big hitter whenever I started investing, right? And if you don't know that story, I do have my origin story where you can learn more about like, kind of like how I got started investing and why I make these videos and stuff like that in another story time that I have. I'll leave the link in the description below. But crypto was another one of those big hitters for me. And through that, I learned a lot and I got hit too. Like I've had some losses as well. I never got scammed in the sense of like somebody stealing money out of my crypto wallet. I never was in like FTX or in a broker that just crashed and I never got my money back. But here's the thing is, it's very easy to kind of get taken advantage of and or just have the wrong thing happen. In this case, like somebody who was trusted with the keys ended up probably trusting somebody who ended up being a scammer. And that just doesn't happen a lot with stocks. It doesn't happen a lot with futures. So what's the point, right? Like, especially crypto now, there's a lot of people, and we'll talk about this in another story as well. There's a lot of people out there who they're sad about where crypto is right now. And who knows, by the time you're watching this video, maybe crypto's in a different place, but it's crazy. People were talking about crypto like it could go up forever. And I think that's where people created a blind side for themselves because they realized that they wanted to diversify their asset class, but not realizing that crypto has always kind of been a red flag type of investment, but it was cool because we were making money, right? This reminds me of a quote that was said from Shannon Sharp, who is a famous Hall of Fame football player, and he has a podcast where he talks about sports, basketball, football, all the other sports as well. And I remember he said, you shouldn't accept something in a win that you wouldn't in a loss, which is very important because a lot of times when we win something, we kind of negate what it took to win, right? Or we negate the bad things that we took to get there, right? Like some people will play football, but they'll win it in a bad way. They kind of just got lucky. And I think that's what happened with crypto a lot of the times because crypto always seemed sketchy. It's just that people were making so much money from crypto that we all just kind of accepted it as it was. I mean, look at NFTs. NFTs made no sense. NFTs, they were like, oh yeah, they're just PNGs, they're just JPEGs. Why would I spend 2 million on a JPEG? But it didn't matter at the time because somebody else was going to buy it for 3 million. So we all just kind of accepted it as it was. But if you took that mindset of I can't accept something in a win that I wouldn't in a loss, then you would understand that I don't need to be touching NFTs because it logically doesn't make sense over the long term. And eventually somebody's going to get caught holding the bag. And that's exactly what happened with NFTs. I mean, NFTs is the one type of crypto where I've seen pop off, get very popular. And then over time, it never came back. Like, and that was the thing with crypto is like, it never truly made sense, but it was good enough that people were making money. Like, and that's the FOMO aspect of it plays such a big deal into it as well, because people see like their mind is saying this doesn't make sense, but then they also see that people are making thousands of dollars with it. So does it not make sense, or is it a viable way to make money? And in a weird point in time, both of those were kind of true. It kind of didn't make sense, but it also made money. And that's how people got caught buying into it. And then also that's how people eventually got bagged. That's how people bought the top and then never got their money back and ended up losing a ton of money because they end up being the last ones to buy into the stupid thing that is no longer valuable. So that being said, I use this kind of framework of you wouldn't accept something in a win that you wouldn't in a loss. Like when you lose something, you highly evaluate what made you lose, right? Like, especially in trading, as a trader for the last 3 years, I understand that like when I lose a trade, I'm analyzing what went wrong. I understand my mistakes that I made and I go about them accordingly, saying like, I need to correct this. But then if I win a trade, I'm just like, oh, I won, like I'm a genius. And like, that's all cool and stuff. But realistically, there's probably lessons that I can learn in that win as well. Or there's probably I probably won in a bad way. Like sometimes you do the wrong thing and it ends up paying off in the long run, but that doesn't mean that you continue doing the bad thing. So I think we're at a point in crypto where I think a lot of people are realizing that I shouldn't be keeping my life savings in crypto, especially for the long term. And I should focus more on investments that might actually pay off. Like if this whole crypto craze was going on and you just put your money into the S&P 500 for the whole time, then you would have made more money. Honestly, there's a point in time where, especially right now, if you would have just kept your money in cash, shoot, you would still have more money, because overall, any crypto that you've held for the last 5 years is most likely in the red right now. And that's when I'm recording this video. And that frustrates a lot of people, right? Because people want long-term growth. And the whole thing about crypto was buying for the long term. Your bag holding. I'm a hold forever. I'm never selling. And that's really where they got everybody. You know, that was the gimmick, and that was the marketing that sold everybody. We're going to hold this forever. And that's just not a viable way to invest in crypto. If you invested in waves where, you know, at one point you buy in, then you sell for a quick profit, or you sell for a substantial profit, and then you cycle through that over and over again, then you probably made some money if you were able to time it well with buying low and then selling high. But if you were one of the people who got completely way too bought in and said, I'm going to hold this for the rest of my life, then you got caught holding the bag, and you would have just been better having that money in an ETF, or better yet, just kind of keeping it in cash altogether. And the thing about crypto that I'm also seeing from a lot of these stories is that the cops are pretty much going to do nothing about it. Most of the times, the cops have no answer to the money that was stolen, and they can't do a thing, and they kind of just send you along your merry way. This guy was getting roped into a crypto scam, but found out that it was a scam and decided to scam the scammers. Here's what happened. So he starts talking to this girl online, we'll call her Mary, and she got his number by accident, I guess. She texted his number and said, oh man, wrong person, right? But then they started talking and talking over text, and eventually the text turns into more of a romantic conversation, which I've never seen this before. I've never heard of a conversation between a scammer turning romantic. I mean, I guess you do have those relationship scams where people will try to pretend like a celebrity, and through that celebrity, they'll be like, oh, I'm sick. Can you send me money? And then some people will actually send this fake celebrity money, right? But he's talking to her about crypto, or he's just talking to her in general, and the relationship or the conversation turns into a romantic conversation. But with crypto, I've never heard of this type of scam where they're talking to each other and eventually it gets romantic. So they end up building trust, and they get on a real video call, like this dude is actually talking to her. And then she brings up how she is trading online. So she shows him on this video call screenshots of the large amount of profits that she's pulling in every single month. And she frames it as this kind of just like exclusive advice, like, this is what I'm doing, I'm telling you because I care about you and I like you, so this is what I'm doing, you could also do the same thing. So this pivots into a phase where she's kind of convincing him to get taught by her. So she told him, just because we have a deep bond and we like each other, that she was okay to teach him how to do the same thing, but it only could be him and nobody else, and he couldn't tell anybody what he was learning. So he ends up agreeing to her sending him a website where they can learn together. So he agrees to let her teach him how to trade, and she sends him a trading site. Now this is where everything was like obviously a scam. He opens up the trading site, and the buttons where it says buy and sell, it already shows the profit that you would make, which is obvious. Like everybody would be rich if that was a thing. That's obviously fake. So he decided he was actually going to deposit money into a scam that he knew was a scam, which, bold move. All right, I guess if that's what you want to do. It just sounds like you were getting scammed, and I don't know, whatever. So he decided to just put a small amount of money in to exploit what some scams do, which is allow you to withdraw a certain amount of money, right? So you might be able to take out $100, $200, $300 the first time, just to show you that it could be true. So then you're more trusting on depositing a bigger amount, and then that's when they can take it all from you. So he deposits that small amount, and he ends up profiting around $650. and he tests to see if he can get a withdrawal back from his money. And the withdrawal actually works. It hits his bank account. So then once the money actually hits his bank account, then he realizes, wait a second, I just got 650 free bucks from doing this quote unquote real trading, even though I know it's a scam. So that's when he knew, okay, it's time to get out of this. So he cut the contract immediately, took all the money out, and blocked the girl on text message, which is exactly what he needed to do. So he ended up actually scamming the people who were trying to scam him. So he did this in a way to kind of warn others about what people are doing, even though this could have definitely gone wrong for him. I mean, there could have been a point where that small amount of money that you deposit, you weren't going to get back. So he took the risk. I applaud you for that. Would that have been me? No, sir. I would have just reported this person or blocked them and moved on about my day. And the cool thing about this community on Reddit is a lot of people will reply with the website that was trying to scam them. So they'll link the website so nobody else can get scammed. And then in the comments, somebody will reply looking at the information about that website. And a lot of these websites were created 15 days ago. 30 days ago. And in this instance, the website that he almost potentially got scammed by was created 115 days before he even invested anything, which again, why would you trust that at all? It just shows another level of due diligence that anybody should do, that you should do in order to never get scammed from crypto ever. This story is so sad because it's somebody's dad who got scammed out of all of his crypto. And the sad part is that he thought it was actually working and he was making money. So the dad was involved into a crypto scam because he got a random message on LinkedIn. So they're not only hitting you up from Twitter, Telegram, they're actually reaching out on LinkedIn now. So he got reached out from LinkedIn about an investment opportunity and he trusted it. It looked legit. And the first time he got into this, he put in $500 into a fake crypto platform, which is another thing that I'm seeing a lot of. A lot of people are creating these crypto brokers, these crypto exchanges, and then people are trusting these exchanges as a place to store their money. And then after that, their money is gone forever. So that's what he did, and it was called Helix Max. So if you ever hear that, just know it's a scam. Do not put your money in there. And it showed that through his investment of $500, he actually doubled it in a pretty short amount of time. So seeing that, he's like, okay, I just made an extra $500. Now, what if I put in some more money? And again, this app looks completely legit. So then he upped the investment to $100K. And the same thing happened. He never tested withdrawing the money, by the way. He never tried to take any of the money out. He put in $100K, and in a short amount of time, he had $200,000. So he's thinking, man, I'm printing money. I need to keep doing this over and over again. So then he invested $400,000, which is all of his money that he had left. So on his end, on the platform, it looks like he has completely changed his life. He's making, it says that he made $3.9 million. But when he tried to withdraw the money, he was told that he was suspicious of laundering his money. So he had to pay a 10% fee, which wasn't going to come out of the profits. You had to put that 10% fee up now. And it wasn't a 10% fee on what you invested in. It was a 10% fee of the total crypto account to withdraw. So that means he had to get 10% of $3.9 million. So he did what any rational person would do. He started borrowing money. So he took $200K from somebody, put $100K in credit card debt and another $100,000 loan and sent it all to this crypto account. So after he sent the 10% fee and tried to withdraw the money that he had won from this crypto account, they told him that his account was banned. This completely derailed and ruined their life because they had no money and no property to their name anymore because he had taken their property and used it as collateral for the loans. So now he has no money for the loans, no money to give back to the lenders. So his house can be completely taken from the bank. They can just swoop by and take it because he doesn't have the money to pay. He has to come up with $400,000 in order to just pay off the lending. That's not even including what he actually earned throughout the course of his life that he put into this account. And the sad thing is that the dad is 65 years old and now he's never going to be able to retire ever. The Reddit poster said that the mom was crying her eyes out, unable to process what happened to their life that they've built for 25 years. And this goes back to one of our first topics that we talked about in this video, which is how do you not talk to your partner about the financial decisions that you are making? How are you not having the conversation about transferring thousands of dollars to a crypto platform? Why are you not having these discussions? And in some instances, you just lose money that you were going to invest in. Like the couple from earlier lost 31K for their home that they were going to put in. This guy lost everything. And even if he contacts the police, there's a high chance they won't be able to do anything. And if they can do something, they're probably not going to be able to get the full amount back. And I tried to look at the account that posted this story, but their account was hidden because I wanted to see if there was any updates on the dad or the family, but I have no ability to see anything that they post other than what they posted right here, which was a year ago today. So who knows where they're at now? And it hurts because whenever I come across stories like these, I can't help but feel both disappointed and frustrated, because I'm disappointed in how somebody can be greedy enough or just like not talk to their family about the decisions that they were making. Because if you can come together as a collective and look over the processes that you're going through, somebody's going to be able to spot that this does not sound right. It doesn't make sense how you're doubling your account so easily. And why would we trust 100K, 400K? Why do they need a 10% fee just to withdraw the money? That doesn't make sense. Why would your account on their platform be laundering money? All of these things don't add up. And before you go and take out loans and use our house as collateral, how are you not talking to the family? So I'm disappointed in the father because I don't want to be mad at the victim, but there are points of negligence that you participate in. You are 65 years old and this is your life savings, and you put it somewhere where you thought it was making money without even withdrawing the money to see if it hits your account. It'd be different if he withdrew some money and actually got the cash in his bank, but he didn't. But it also makes me incredibly frustrated because that means there's a scammer out there that made $900,000 from scamming this one guy. What do they do with that money? And there's going to be no repercussion for them. There's going to be no jail time. There's going to be no need to give back the funds at all, because usually there's nothing that the police can do. And it's actually such a bad situation. It's way different than my last video where I talked about more trading confessions, where people have their money, they're putting them into completely legit brokerages and then just kind of making bad decisions and spending all the money anyways on bad ideas. Like, this is deliberate actions that they took that were just poor. You know, it wasn't like the broker itself crashed and took everything. It's not like they didn't have a chance. They had a chance to do the right thing, but they just did the wrong thing. For these crypto scams, a lot of times people believe they're doing the right thing, but then are completely taken advantage of. And it hurts, man. It's frustrating to hear, and it's sad too, because these are real people with real stories. In every single comment section, I'll always find somebody else who says, dude, I went through the same thing. I lost this amount of money, this amount of money. And the fact that this can still go on, you know, we talk about crypto as this big saving grace or this big way to kind of get away from the dollar. But overall, it seems like this almost does more harm than good. After all this, if you don't learn anything else, you shouldn't put your whole net worth into crypto. Like, having 200K in crypto is crazy. Having all your customer funds in crypto is crazy. Putting $900,000 taking out loans to buy crypto is crazy. The mistake that a lot of beginner investors make, they only look at what they could make and not what they could lose. And if you're going to invest a lot of money into crypto, have a get out plan. Like, have a way that you know you could take your money out. For example, with the girl who had the $31,000 in client funds in crypto, why would you accept crypto as a payment if you didn't have a clear way of turning that crypto into cash? I understand you're in a foreign country and it's not easy, But why wouldn't you have a plan or a broker in mind that's trusted and reliable that you know you could go get it in cash? And for the family who had $200,000 of XRP, why were the keys even given away to a scammer? The keys should only go to certain places, and that's your get out plan. Like, if I want to take this money out, I know that I can put my keys here in order to get this money out. There should be no other variable that comes into account. A lot of people invest in crypto because they don't know how to invest in stocks and options, which is just a easier, safer way to do things. And you don't have to buy a course to learn these things. All the information is available free online. And that's why if you join my community, top link in the description, then I'll give you 50 free resources on how to learn trading for free. And for those who become more advanced in trading, you're going to need a database in order to track all your data and your progress. So I also have a database in there as well with an AI system to amplify the whole thing. So I'll see you in the community. Until the next video, have a great day and goodbye.